The Sandy and Toddcast is a Mind Garden Media podcast in association with
Screw You, Todd
Productions. All right, here we go.
Hi.
First time back in a while.
I know. I'm so excited. Hi. I mean, first time that we've done a live cast in a while. I've been talking to you nonstop, and you're loving every minute of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So welcome back to everybody. We are back. We don't know how often we'll be back for a little while. It may be scattered here and there, but we both thought this would be a really good one to share with everybody.
Yeah.
So the amazing Eron Mazza will be joining us in just a few minutes. They sent us a pretty funny little voice snippet message.
All right,
because they just got out of work.
This is what they said. So here's Eron.
I am traveling at breakneck speeds through Clarkson, Missouri, trying not to get a ticket.
So
Now, if he gets a ticket, I'm not paying it. That's his own doing.
you booked it, so it would be your responsibility to take care of that.
Nope, not happening. Not happening.
No?
So, nope, not at all. So what's been going on? Let's see. How is your knee doing?
He's doing good.
Yeah, how often are you going to, hi Renee, welcome. How often are you going to your physical therapy?
Physical therapy is once a week now.
That's good.
So it went from 2 to 1. I don't know if did that end up going up on the screen yet or not?
Yeah, it's good.
It did. All right.
Good.
I didn't see if somebody got that or not. I've got something special tonight that I was going to share. And I had it all planned out to be special so that you wouldn't see it. And then you had to ruin the whole thing.
It's right there in front of my face. You know me so well. We're going on 2 years of BFF-ship, and how could I not question what I see in front of my face?
You're so nosy, but there is a knee cam tonight. So you can kind of see, well, I don't know.
Yeah, sure. What is going on? All
So
right.
there's my knee. That's
there
what's
it
left
is.
of the
There it
that's
is.
what's left of the scar.
Yikes. It looks great. It really does, considering that we're only 2 months, 3 months in, 3.5 months. Really?
Is it 3.5 months? No, it's not.
It
Do
was
your math again.
January 1st.
All right.
Or no, 2.5 months. 2.5 months.
Oh my God.
2.5
You're
months.
horrible with that stuff.
I know, I'm terrible. 2.5, but still, that's 10 weeks in. So you're doing good. I'm proud of you. How much more do you have, do you think, before you can really, get back to somewhat normal?
Oh, I think it's going to be a while. Because I am walking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot of stuff that I can't do yet. And I can't walk around too much on it. Sitting in a certain position makes it swell. And
Yeah.
I can't climb. I can climb stairs, but not like a normal person. So that's not happening yet. Still not driving, etc.
Yeah. Did they give you an idea of when you could drive?
I have to go in the first part of April to have kind of a doctor's appointment.
Right.
And she'll assess it at that point. Maybe I can start driving then.
That'll be good. That'll be good. Well, then, we will still, as Dave says, we'll still throw you in the back seat when we take let's tell everybody, this is so cool. We're taking a little vacation inside of our vacation because in June we're coming out to see you guys.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be in Oshkosh. We're flying into Appleton this time. So we're going to go through Chicago, but we're not driving up from Chicago. We're going to drive from Appleton. And that's only like 20 minutes, a half hour. We're going to stay Wednesday night and Thursday in Oshkosh. And then Friday morning, we're all heading into the car and we're driving to Washington Island. And we're going to be stuck in the car with each other for 3 hours. And we get to go on a ferry boat, which is really exciting. Spend the whole day in Washington Island going to all the cool places. And then we're going to come back across what is it? Is it like a bay? Is that what they consider it?
Well,
on the ferry?
No, I mean, not really. You're going from the mainland to an island. So.
Oh, okay. So then we're going to come back to the mainland and we're going to stay in a place called Sister Bay. And that's right in Door County. And then on Saturday, we're just going to go all over Door County and like get all fat and sassy and eat breads and drink wine and have a great time and do some shopping. And then we'll drive back on Sunday. And then we fly out Monday morning. So it's a little vacation inside of vacation.
Anyone listening to this live or even later down the road, how much of that do you think I had anything to do with planning?
You had a lot to do with it.
Bullshit.
You had a lot to do with it. Wait a minute. You're the one who, God, I don't even know when you said, oh, we should go to Washington Island. And that got me going because that's really how we kind of met. Because you were doing Haunted State and all of those places up there it was filmed there. And I watched the show and I was like, I reached out to you and then we became friends. And so I've always wanted to go up there. And we talked about it last year, but then you're like, oh, it's too far away. You know, we'd never be able to.
In the amount of time that you guys were here last year, it was just too far.
Right.
Yeah.
We'd never be able to do it. So then you're like, well, this time, why don't we go up to Washington Island? And I said, oh my God, that would be fantastic. So we figured we were only going to go for one day or even one night, but everything is booked a year in advance up there. And especially one night, forget it. So we decided to do 2 nights, which will be really fun because you really kind of wanted us to see Door County because it's so cute. So I said, let's just do it. So we are. So I'm very excited and cannot wait. So Vicky's with us. Hi, Vicky. It's so good to see you. And everybody like my backdrop? Check out this backdrop.
That looks really cool.
Doesn't it look cool? It's a tapestry because I didn't want just since I had to change everything around, now I'm in a totally different direction. So I didn't want just my studio foam pieces. I'm talking with my hands.
No, I have got the story of all stories for you right now.
What?
Every goddamn time we record a podcast or we get on one of these things, there is some sort of technical issue on her behalf. She can't get it figured out. There's no audio. There's no audio on she can't hear me. I can't hear her. The lights aren't working. Something is not quite correct.
And
so no, I'm not done. You just shut up for a minute. So we get on this thing at about, I'm just going to make a time up at 7:35, 7:40. We show up here. As we mentioned, Erin's going to be joining us. They're on their way back home from work. And I get on and I'm like, I see that tapestry behind her. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. And she's going, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm like, yeah, it's just beautiful. I think it looks great. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
So I had to call Dave up.
No, I'm not done. I'm telling the story. So then she does I'm going, I can hear you. And she goes, can you hear me? Okay. Like she's not even looking at me. I'm saying, yes, I can hear you. So she's going nuts. I'm trying to type to her, sending messages. Check this, check that. She's not. Can you hear me? What's wrong here? Okay. So she's doing that whole thing. She gets on the phone because Dave's right downstairs. So what do? You pick up your cell phone and you call your husband downstairs.
I was all hooked up. I didn't want to unhook.
Hi, it's Dave. Yeah, can you come up here? I'm having problems. I can't handle this. So he comes upstairs. Now, in the meantime, I'm saying, check this, check that, blah, blah, blah. So he walks in and he's in the room for about 10 seconds. And he says, you want to plug your headset in over there? Your headset? It was just dangling. Wasn't plugged into anything. Can you hear me?
Well, no, but I was
then she says, did you hear that exchange? And I said, absolutely not. I didn't hear any of it. Knowing full well, I heard the whole damn thing. And all I could think of is, here we are again with her and her technical prowess.
don't know what I'm doing. I've never lied about that. I've always been very straightforward. I have no idea what I'm doing.
But there's a difference from, not being able to switch over sound cards to not having your headset plugged in. There's a big difference.
Listen.
And then she had to ruin it for me, and I had to ask what the knee cam was.
It says knee cam. I'm like, what in the world is the knee cam? And you just blew it off, and I'm like, well, what is a knee cam? I had no idea. I thought there was some kind of camera in my light ring or something. I didn't know what was going on.
Look at that nice big old scar right down the front.
That's lovely.
I'm just gonna sit here and rub it all night. It's aching.
Lord. How bad? Scale of 1 to 10. How bad does it ache right now?
Right now, because I'm trying to bend it.
Yeah.
I'll go for a good one. Oh, that is that was about an 8.
Oh, yikes.
So we're just waiting for Aaron. His mate, Jared, just said that they are on their way.
They are on their way. So
Renee, you love that scar and you know it.
oh my gosh. You should be really happy that I'm not living in Oshkosh because I would be driving you crazy. I'd be trying to help you all the time and do nice things for you, and it would drive you insane.
Listening to her for 30 minutes before we went on.
Listen, the thing was, though, here's the deal.
I think I got a cold, but it might be allergies. I think I may have COVID. I mean, that's exactly what's been going on.
Jay, you're right. He should have. That would have been perfect because then I would have really freaked out. So I know. Well, I took a COVID test today because back in the fall, back in October. Now I'm boosted. I'm the whole 9 yards. But back in the fall, right before I was supposed to get my booster.
She is the whole 9 yards.
Dave and I hosted a Halloween party at our local VFW. We put it on every year for them. And we hosted it. And I don't know if I told this story before, but this really, really drunk girl walked up to me and said, "You're gorgeous." And then she kissed me on the lips. Like, I wasn't expecting this. She was just like a raging drunk. And I got all freaked out because then she proceeds to tell me when I get back from the bathroom after scrubbing my mouth off, she proceeds to tell me that her kids were home being quarantined.
Well, how freaking irresponsible is she?
Exactly. I don't care how drunk you are. You don't do that to people. And that happened to me one other time, too, a while ago, several years ago. This really drunk girl. Like, if you're going to get drunk, at least be able to handle yourself. That's all I have to say. If you're going to get drunk in public. But anyways, about 3 or 4 days later, I had this horrible headache. Like, somebody was sticking knives in my head. And no matter what I took, it would not go away. Nothing. I've never had one like it before. And I had it for about 5 days straight. And I also was so tired, so exhausted mentally, physically. I was literally trying to edit and work, and I was falling asleep at my keyboard. And so it didn't dawn on me because those aren't a lot of the symptoms that you would normally hear of. So everybody always says that they get sick, like it's like flu-like. It didn't even dawn on me till after the fact that I may have had it. So I go into my doctor about a month ago and I tell her what happened. And she's like, "Yep, you had COVID." She's pretty sure. I never had a test, but she's pretty sure. And I am too. So anyways, we did one of the other charities that we work with, Halo, Helping Animals Live organization. They have a big Chinese auction every year. And Dave and I call the numbers every year at the end of the day. Well, we showed up about 1:30, just in time to call the numbers, but there was a huge amount of people there. And of course, not having seen people in months and months, they all want to come up to you. They all want to talk to you. They all want to hug you, all that kind of stuff. And so I woke up. Now, this was about a week and a half ago, but I woke up and this morning, and I don't have allergies, or I never did before. And I haven't really been around anybody to suddenly get a cold. So I thought, okay, maybe I should take a test just to make sure. That came back negative, which is good. We got the knee cam back up. So I guess it's allergies. And then you and Dave both told me it's because I'm getting old and older people get allergies. No,
not older people get allergies, but as you get older, you can develop allergies. Definitely. In this time of year, as spring is starting to be sprung is typically when I will get my spring allergies. The tree pollens start to fly around a little bit. I mean, probably is.
So,
plus, you've been doing some cleaning around the house. Could be dust allergies.
I have been. I've been trying to get a head start on spring cleaning and stuff. It's not easy with 4 cats and a dog, but I've been trying to get a head start with it too. So anyways, the whole reason that I was all discombobulated was that I just got this new tapestry behind me, and I have my sunset lamp on it, which I love, and I wanted to make sure that everything was set up good because this is a whole new setup. And you and I have used my new webcam that cost me way more money than the first one did. And it better be great. And I think it is. So I just want to make sure it was all set up. And then I can't hear anything you're saying. So I did. I forgot
because she didn't have her headset plugged in.
I didn't have my headset.
I mean, we literally, she oh my goodness.
You got to make fun of me for something. Eron is walking through the front door.
I am traveling at breakneck speeds through Clarkson, Missouri, trying not to get a ticket.
So what you never want to do to me is send pictures that you don't want me to show, and you never send me audio that you don't want to hear.
I am traveling at breakneck speeds through Clarkson, Missouri, trying not to get a ticket.
So, because I will use it for the rest of your
I've
life.
kind of learned my lesson. I don't think I've given you anything in a while. My favorite, though, was Screw You, Todd, and look what that turned into.
Yeah, became the name of your company, basically.
Yeah, our company, which, by the way, if anybody really is serious about wanting to, a lot of people don't think to themselves, what in the world would I talk about if I had my own podcast? Believe me, I have hundreds upon hundreds of podcasts that come across my desktop all the time, and the best thing you can do is if you have something you're passionate about, I don't care if it's knitting. If you have something that you're passionate about and you want to talk about it, there are people out there who will listen to you. There is an audience. It's just that you have to be passionate and really happy and excited about what you want to talk about, whether it's financial, whether it's a hobby, and I try to, when I edit, I try to make it very reasonably priced. And I work with people a lot so that they can, we'll walk you through every step of the way. But if anybody's ever thought to themselves, I'd really like to try my own podcast, please just message us and let me know, and we can talk about it. And I can give you some tips and tricks and hints, and maybe we can get you set up and you can try it a little bit. Eron is a Mind Garden Media podcast. And they're doing really well with their podcast. And we'll talk all about that tonight when they finally get on here.
I am traveling at breakneck speeds through Clarkson, Missouri, trying not to get a ticket.
So, yeah, we'll have them on in just a little while. So we've had a very good season already of podcasts. If you haven't been listening to them, we've had some good guests. We've had a lot of conversations, just the two of you and I.
Yep.
And so the season's been very, very good.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think each season we do kind of evolves into something a little bit different. We were kind of already making plans for season 5 the other day and throwing some ideas.
Season 4 was the end. I thought season 4 was where it was going to end. Stuck with me.
We're going to be doing season 86. You're stuck with me, buddy. But throwing some ideas around for season 5, making it just a little bit different. I think it's going to be really cool.
Eron is actually in the process of just sitting themselves down in front of a camera right now. And before I bring them out, I'm going to, do this one more time.
I am traveling at breakneck speeds through Clarkson, Missouri, trying not to get a ticket.
Can they hear that?
They can hear that. Yeah. They're adjusting their lights and stuff right now. So hang on a second here. Let's peek in and see what they're up to as we speak.
Okay, let's do it.
There's only one person I know whose neck's going to get broken if they play that again.
So let me ask you this, since we've had no time to actually prepare, are you able to take your phone and spin it on its side by any chance?
Yes.
So we can get a bigger view. Look
there
at that.
We go.
See, that's the picture we want to see.
Look at that. I love that face.
Having their diet 7-Up. So
No, it's my
There
first
we
7-Up of
go.
the night. You don't want me on here if I'm drinking
at
other
breakneck
stuff. So.
speeds through Clarkson, Missouri, trying not to get a ticket.
This is why I don't send you stuff, Todd.
Now they know what it's like, though. Keep calling my shirt a poncho, which, by the way, you two will be really happy to know that I looked it up today, and they do call it a poncho. They call it a poncho shirt.
I was
Poncho
just being
top.
prophetic, and
I know.
and ponchos just seem to accentuate your personality, Aunt Sandy.
Thank you. They're going to, guess what? You're getting a new one this summer too. I'm gonna add to the wardrobe.
Is it leopard print?
I don't know what it's gonna be yet. I'm still trying to decide what I want to do. Look,
I don't have a copy of the poncho that we're specifically talking about to throw up. But
the white one, black and white one.
I don't have that available.
No.
Does it sparkle? It looks like it has sequins on it.
No, I'll tell you what though, in the summertime, it's so comfortable. So screw you, Erin. I don't care. Hi, Sudie. Sudie's on.
There's a new production company. Screw you, Erin.
Brought to you by Screw You, Erin Productions. So, all right. So you're finally with us. We've been talking about this for a few weeks now, and there's so many things we want to talk about. Tell us what you've been up to.
I am actually working on season 2 of The Witching Hour, which is a Mind Garden podcast.
That's right. Yes. And we love having you on there because I think you're doing an amazing job.
I learned how to not eat the microphone. And I'm sure Todd will have something to say about this. I listen to my own podcast because I like the sound of my own voice. And so I call it quality control, but really, I just like the way I sound.
You sound good. You do a good job with it.
I think it's important to listen because then I think you're your own worst critic and you find things that you would do differently, etc. So I think it's always a good idea. Sandy's had a lot of good things to say about the podcast, and Sandy's two people. She's the kind of person who will lie to your face and tell you she loves what you do. She thinks you are just the best thing in the world when deep down inside she hates. Oh, yes, you are. You do it on the podcast a lot. But then in the other thing, she was really giving you a compliment by saying that she thinks you're doing very, very well.
Yeah, you really are. First of all, you're lying. And second of all, yes.
Lying.
Yes, you are.
I'm so excited about this. I'm just so excited. And
because I am.
Okay.
I am. So let's talk about The Witching Hour with Eron Mazza. It's a little while, we were talking about it for a little bit after you started.
Uh-huh.
What made you decide that you just wanted to go for it?
I just got over my fear, and it's something been aspiring to do for a long time, but I had no idea where to start. But then I met you two, and I'm still cleaning up the emotional damage.
It's gonna be a long time with that.
It's gonna be a while.
Me. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I met you guys, and you guys got me pointed in the right direction, and here we are. The last episode of season 1 comes out next week, and I get to have Christopher Pinzak on.
Which I'm very excited about because I didn't really know a lot because I edit your podcast. So I get to listen to them before everybody else. And I will give you this, all of your guests I didn't know about because the type of guest that you have is not somebody that I actually would normally listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know about Christopher Pinzak, and I am not lying, but I am really excited to hear this one because I think it's going to be really, really fantastic, like the other ones. And one thing I will say about your guests is that everybody is a little bit different. Everybody looks at things from a different perspective. You don't have the same guest on every week just with a different name. There's all, there's all different types of, you just did the, was it the voodoo? He was voodoo priest.
He was a Haitian Ungan. He was a high priest of Haitian voodoo.
What a great episode that was. Seriously.
I enjoyed doing it because we broached some subjects that are really difficult to talk about. Mm-hmm. Especially in magical communities. And in my last episode with Austin Fuller, the owner of Bane and Bramble, we talked about another subject like the commercialization of witchcraft, but I'm not going to go into it because I want you all to go and listen to it.
Right.
After this show, just don't go right now.
Let me ask you this: of all of your guests on season 1, did you have a guest that was like absolutely your favorite?
I would have to say it's a toss-up between Storm Fairy Wolf was one. Okay, I have my top 3. Storm Fairy Wolf, I love them all. I wish I could put them all in the top spot, but I was really excited to talk to Storm Fairy Wolf.
And what was that
Devin
conversation about?
Hunter.
What was that conversation?
It was about queer spirituality and like his newest book that's coming out. He has another book out, and I'm totally going to plug it right now, called The Witch's Name.
Yeah.
And he's got another book coming out called The Satyr's Kiss, and we talked about that book in particular, which is a book of queer spirituality, but not just LGBT. Everybody can read it because everybody can get something out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really interesting because, of course, I have many friends who are part of the LGBT plus community, but I don't really understand that aspect of it, you know? And so for me, it was kind of enlightening to hear someone who was very kind and patient and knowledgeable who explained that whole genre that I didn't know anything about.
It was it's because he writes books. Yeah, it's like for the LGBTQ community, but like I said, he writes books with the intention of everybody getting something out of it.
Right. Very
and
good.
that's kind of how every episode I would ask my guest, so how did you find witchcraft? And just every time it's just different answers.
Right.
Every time, and that's witchcraft itself. There's no one set way. There is no dogma in witchcraft, and that's one of the things I'm trying to emphasize with this podcast. There is no rigid set rules to be able to practice.
Now
do you find like a lot of other, and I hate to call them religions, but a lot of other belief processes that there are some people who just believe their way is the right way, though, and they kind of propagate that?
I've heard of people in the community who have tried to do that. They pretend like they have all the answers, but that's sort of the way, if they're truly following and trying to figure out witchcraft and saying their answer is the right answer, that's kind of something that's kind of risky business in my book, because then you become sort of like organized religion. I'll say that. If you think your way is the only way, the way I see it, that's not a true path of freedom. You're just confining yourself with something else.
Well, and a lot of the topics we talk about, from, whether it's witchcraft or it's woo-woo or it's ghosts or it's UFOs or it's whatever it is, Bigfoot.
Hey, Todd, say woo-woo again. I'm entertained by it. It regales me.
Woo-woo.
Hang on just 1 second there.
I'm traveling at breakneck speeds through
That's
Clarkson,
why
Missouri,
you have
trying not to get a
That's
ticket.
why you have friends.
It's
Todd,
okay.
That's why you have no friends.
It's fine. I'm fine without friends. But what I was trying to say was, when in all these different groups, the stuff we talk about, when somebody tries to say they have the answer, I'm totally turned off by it. I'm done with. I'm kind of done with their presentation or their information, because I think everybody's got a different journey. Your witchcraft journey is different from somebody else's. Somebody's paranormal journey is different from another person's. I just think the minute somebody says this is the way it is and expect people to just kind of follow, I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
That's almost like a cult, just like a super duper religious cult. Say this way is the only way, and all the other ways are absolute BS.
You know what that reminds me of? I've gotten people who send me pictures or videos. I had a video about a month ago sent to me, and this girl had lost, I think it was her brother. It was a while ago, her brother, and she shot out her back door. It was all glass. Shot with the camera, with the video.
Oh, I was like,
she
what?
Shot, no. Well, we do live in the sticks. But she shot her video
really
outside of her back door because she saw what she thought was an orb, and she was pretty convinced it was her brother. And having experience in the paranormal world, it was pretty obvious to see it was probably just a lens flare off the camera. Because as she moved the camera, it moved with her in the same way. So if she jiggled the camera, it jiggled too. But she truly believed that it was probably her brother. And I said to the person who sent it to me, if that's what she wants to believe, there's nothing wrong with that. If that brings her peace and fulfillment, then that's what she should believe. And I feel that way with religion as well. It shouldn't be thrown into a box and just said it's this way or else, because we all have different life experiences and different expectations from the way that we worship or experience religion.
And I mean, it's kind of like if it's not hurting anybody, if it's not hurting the environment, just leave people alone.
Yep.
And who's to say that instance couldn't be where circumstance just happened to line up, and she did that and she saw all that right there. Who's to say that it wasn't sort of like okay, I'm going to be kind of woo woo, Todd. Who's to
Let me
say
find that
it's not-
audio again real quick here.
No, but it's who's to say it wasn't that particular instance just wasn't their benefit, just that particular moment, seeing that lens flare in there, just wish for her, you know.
Right.
It's kind of hard to explain.
One of my favorite guests that you have, and I'm sorry, but the name escapes me, but you'll know as soon as I start talking about it. We were talking about healing, end of life healing. Which of your guests was that?
Chris Allen.
Chris Allen. And he was saying that there's two types of healing at the end of life. There's the healing that makes you physically better. And then there's the healing that helps you go. And I just found that stuck with me through of the whole season. That piece stuck with me the most because I thought that was beautiful. Because if you think about it, you know, what's the best gift that we can give to somebody who's suffering is to heal them enough to let them go to the other side and alleviate that suffering. I thought that was beautiful.
I have known Chris for a number of years. He is probably one of the most peaceful, serene individuals I have ever met. And they talk about, and the way he talks just about death, he makes you more comfortable with that. Because at the end of the day, it's coming. We're all going to be there one day.
Right. Yeah.
Until I find the Sorcerer's Stone and I make myself immortal.
Well, I just thought that he was a fantastic guest, and his words really stuck with me. Like I said, through the whole season, I think that it was very, it just made a lot of sense. It didn't seem like it was just, going off in different directions. It was, this is the way it truly is, in a very kind way. And I just thought that was fantastic. So kudos to you for getting such wonderful guests.
Thank you. Chris actually sought me out. He's like, I want to be on the show. And I was like, oh, yeah, that'd be great.
It's great. Are you planning on for season 2? Are you going to do a guest every week again? Or every episode again? Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I really do.
I'm just the Barbara Walters of the witchcraft community.
In more ways than one. My question is this, though, and that is, I have not seen Aunt Sandy on the podcast, and I certainly haven't seen myself on the podcast. And I'm just wondering, with as much, guest time as we've given you, and certainly the amount of time Aunt Sandy takes to clip your stuff up, wouldn't it be wonderful if you had her on? You missed it, by the way, Erin. Did you hear the story about it prior to the podcast tonight?
No.
What your producer pulled?
What?
You're gonna have to go back and watch this.
Just
but
don't.
You may want to think about getting a new producer after you hear the fact that she couldn't hear anything because her headset was not plugged in.
Don't encourage him, please. Don't encourage him. My favorite parts of editing their episodes, though, is the before, because the conversations are hilarious. And I don't even know how I started getting called Aunt Sandy, but whenever he refers to his producer as Auntie, I just die. I'm cracking up. And then they were having a conversation with one of the guests a couple of episodes ago, and they were like, apparently, like you were late to one, you got your time zones mixed up,
Fucking
and
time zones.
of course we had to refer back to the time that they were late on our podcast, our live cast, and we had to fill time for 20 minutes. And I lost it.
Hanging out in the shower, getting cleaned up while we're sitting here waiting for them.
Yep, I was singing too. I had the radio going, and I'm like, why is Todd calling me? Oh, are you gonna show up on the show? And I go, what do you mean? Then I go, time zones.
Yeah, it's definitely confusing. So, speaking of the devil, we're an hour later tonight, but we have a nice amount of people. So, thank you everybody for joining us on our first live cast since, I don't know, Todd, probably the beginning of December.
Since before the holidays, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really nice to see everybody.
And our next one is planned for Thanksgiving, so we hope to see you then.
Well, like I said, it's going to be, when you are able to do them. So it might be a little sketchy here and there, but
until then,
we'll get back
to
my
show. You have my podcast.
That's right. So tell everybody where they can find your podcast.
You can find my podcast on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, almost anywhere you can listen to your podcasts. You can find yours truly. And Todd, as a matter of fact, I was going to the bathroom this morning and I thought about you and Sandy.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
There it
look
is.
At that logo.
There it is.
Logo.
Awesome. Yeah, and you did come a long way. It's very funny when we first were working out your audio, because you go through Anchor. And when we were first trying to figure out your audio, you had so much distortion. I couldn't even figure out what you were saying. And
I was like this close to the microphone.
And I'm like, Erin, you can sit back from the microphone. It's okay. But now you sound fantastic. So good job. Good job. You're doing good.
I'm trying to get that Todd voice because I have to go a few octaves deeper. And I have to talk like I have a mouthful of gravel.
There's the knee cam.
Oh my god!
Which is probably a little bit. Yeah.
Looks like Mars. There we go.
Looks like Mars. It does kind of look like Mars, doesn't it?
Is that the scar?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, poor Todd. Even I feel bad for you.
That's why I'm doing it. That's why I took time to put a camera there, so everybody feels bad for me.
Anyways, so let me ask you this, because you asked some very good questions, and I've wanted to ask you this for a while. I figured this is a good place to do it. How much do you prepare before your interviews? Do you go off of, do you just go in the moment, or do you really have a plan as to what you want to ask?
I write out my questions. I work on it usually a few days before I actually start recording and getting with the guest. And I just use those questions as a skeleton to ask other questions. Like I'll ask the question and they'll say something. If it intrigues me, I'll doodle it in my notebook, because I have a notebook open in front of me. Then I'll be like, let's go back to this when you said that. So
Yep.
I definitely behave like a Virgo.
I love asking that question because it's sort of like musicians. I like to ask musicians a lot. Do you write the lyrics first and then put music to it? Or do you come up with the music and then add lyrics? So I just was interested because Todd and I don't really prepare that much for our stuff. Like we just have ideas. What are you waving?
Those are my notes that I have.
Oh, I don't make notes at all.
Oh, no, really?
I don't. I just go. I go with it. Whatever comes up. Well, I'll take that back.
Me? I can't hear you.
I take that back though. Sometimes I will if I find a story or something, I'll have that ready. But for the most part, I just talk. So there.
I like to plan. I like to have a constructed episode because I just want to pick their brains. I want to, because you've heard a few of my guests go, "Oh wow, I didn't think I didn't get into it out of that question."
Yeah.
And I'm like, answer it. Get out now. Answer it.
Who is your dream guest? If you could have a guest on that, like, would just blow you away, who would that be?
Are we talking living or dead?
Whatever you want. Whatever you want. You're the
I
most.
would love to have Aleister Crowley on.
Yes.
That would be amazing. I think that would be like one of my most listened to episodes is Aleister Crowley.
I'm sure. That would be great. So
And living, I would probably have to say like Lori Cabot.
oh, who was it who was under her? Who learned under her?
Christopher Penzak.
Yes, Christopher Penzak. Yes. Yeah.
And I've also started working with, I don't know, but I've plastered it all over my social media. I'm working with Llewellyn to help try to get even more episodes. So this next season.
Well, explain that for
Yeah.
people who don't know what Llewellyn is. Explain
Let's talk about that.
Llewellyn is one of the biggest metaphysical, witchy, spiritual publishers in the world. And I'm working with them to get some of their authors and people who are writing books and making like card decks and stuff. I'm trying to get them on the show. But at the same time, and they're just sort of funneling people with me to ask questions and to help promote their projects.
That's wonderful. I know you were really excited about it. And
I am. They sent me a box full of stuff that I haven't opened yet.
Uh-huh.
Let's do it here. Open it right here on the show. Come on.
An unboxing. This
Absolutely.
is exciting.
And
Right
I have
here.
to record it too. Record it. Okay.
Right
Well,
here
I-
on the Sandy and Toddcast.
Brought to you by
Llewellyn.
Look at how I'm excited about this. I wonder what's
Let
in
me
there.
see here. Hope I don't cut my finger on the Sandy and Toddcast.
Oh,
that
our
would be
first
weird.
medical emergency.
Yeah, I'd start screaming, Jared!
Why hasn't Jared made an appearance yet?
Jared, your presence is being requested.
I've been waiting.
I love that the closet door is wide open and we can just see what's in there. That is
Yeah.
great.
I know, it's very fashionable, isn't it?
Kind of, maybe not.
They sent me the publicist sent me a cute little card.
Oh.
Let's see. They sent me Seeking Fairy.
Oh, that's cool.
Which looks to be a book about the hidden world of the Fae.
I have to ask you about that after we get done with the box too.
Okay. They also sent me a positive pagan
Oh, positive pagan.
by Lisa Wagner.
Is there
The
a
other one
negative pagan?
Of course there
it's
is.
it's whenever you that's how you make more pagans with the negatives. Get it? Negative pagan. But it's Positive Pagan by Lisa Wagner, and Seeking Fairy is by Emily Carding.
Future
And then
guest,
we-
maybe.
Yes, most definitely. I'm just making a list in my head. And also this book by that Storm
Oh.
Fairy Wolf guy.
Yep. Which is one of the best names I probably have ever heard in my life, by the way.
It is he is one of my favorite people to talk to.
Yes.
Then there is Kundalini Energy by Shannon Yoziri.
What kind of lady energy? What is that called? Kundalini?
Kundalini, it's like snake energy working with activate your power for enlightenment.
With snakes?
It's just symbolized by snakes. I could
Oh.
probably do an entire lecture over like snakes and stuff like that.
Wow.
Then there's queer Kubala, Kabbalah.
That was a great
by-
sound effect.
It was well. I just had trouble saying Kabbalah, which is really bad.
Kabbalah.
Then there's witchful thinking.
I like that
You better
one.
start reading that one right away. I think that might be a positive take for you.
You better start going to find paper bags to put over that beard.
I am traveling at breakneck speed through Clarkson, Missouri, trying not to get a ticket.
Anyways,
So that's great.
Oh.
Witchful thinking.
yes,
Oh my gosh, you've got
Then-
tons of stuff in there.
They're sending you a
Then
ton of stuff.
The Witch's Book of Spellcraft by Jason Mason.
Oh, I like that one.
And a lot of these are like upcoming titles to look into because because I also get to write reviews and stuff like this. And stuff like
Nice.
that. And the book we talked about earlier by Storm Fairy Wolf. Let's see.
Satyr's Kiss.
Yes. I'm very excited about this.
You have a lot of good reading there.
Yeah, Jared. Wait, as a matter of fact, Jared. Where he's at? He's gone MIA.
Oh,
I think
all
I
right.
should just take us through the house to try to go find him, but I don't want I don't want you to get motion sick.
All right, so I have a question. I have two questions, actually.
Sure.
First of all, and I mean this with all respect, I want to understand it. Is there?
Look who's here.
Hi, we were waiting for you. Looking.
He immediately does close the closet. Thank you.
Hold on.
That
wait.
was perfect.
Hold on 1 second. Turn this off. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Yeah,
There we go. Much better.
there we go.
Hey
All
guys.
right. Hi, Jared. We were wondering when you
How's
were
it
going to make an
going?
appearance. We're good. We're good.
Uh-huh. I've been listening to it in the living room.
Awesome.
And then I
Oh, is
started
that
going,
why?
baby?
That's why you came in and closed the closet door. We thought that was perfect.
I'm sure he came in and he's like, really, Aaron? showing your junky ass closet.
I heard the shade.
So, Jared, what do you think of Aaron's podcast? Do you listen to every episode? Like the good partner you are?
I have actually not listened to every episode.
Yeah.
Ah,
I'm like, I hear about witchy stuff all day,
Yep.
every day. I do want to listen to all of them, but I haven't yet.
So,
he
Aaron,
go ahead.
explain to us the whole idea of the fairy tradition.
The fairy
Because-
tradition of witchcraft.
Yes, because
Was,
a lot of people tend to think of it as like the fairies, but it's different, right? It's not like the traditional fairies that you think of.
It is. It's not like the cute little sprites and,
Right,
and stuff
right.
like that. The fairy tradition is an American tradition of witchcraft that was founded by Victor and Cora Anderson a while back. And it basically talks about, if memory serves me correctly, the way that Victor defined the fairy tradition was developing relationships with spirits and learning how to work with those spirits.
Right.
And it comes with like its own like system of deity and stuff like that as well. It's different than Wicca. If you listen to the Storm Fairy Wolf episode, he talks a bit about the difference between fairy and Wicca.
Right.
I think I'm gonna head out. I don't know what I can add, you know.
You can add.
Just your
You can-
cuteness.
Oh, thanks.
Somebody
Aw.
needs to bounce out Todd. He came in, and all the dogs came in, and Peach and Arthur came in.
Aw.
Well, I'll take my Daisy Dukes out of here. But good to see you guys.
You too. Love you.
Love you too.
Okay, baby. I'm still here. Don't worry.
Oh, you guys are so in love. Oh my God. So
Well, here's the thing. I don't think that Aaron does anything where he has to call Jared in to find out whether or not his headsets are plugged in. You know what I'm saying?
shut up. Screw you, Todd. Anyways, all right. So my other question is this, and this comes from a totally dumb standpoint because I don't know the answer to this.
I don't
question.
like, Sandy, I don't like it whenever smart people call themselves dumb.
Okay,
Because
this is
you're not dumb. You just want to know.
yes. This is an inquisitive question. You are
Mhm.
correct. Is there a difference between there are a lot of books out there that kind of mention the queer side of witchcraft as
Mhm.
opposed to just witchcraft. Is there a difference? Is it just the perspective is different? Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. The perspective is kind of different because if you're like me, there is usually in traditional witchcraft, especially with like traditional Wicca, Gerald Gardner believed that like the only way to like produce like magic and stuff like that was lining at the polarity of male and female.
Okay.
But then there's people like who are in the queer community who don't identify with being male or female.
Right.
And any polarity, whether it be like male, female, north, south, different representations of the polarities can produce magic.
Mm-hmm.
And the queer side of spirituality tends to get farther away from that polarity and that gender polarity.
I gotcha. That makes sense. Which kind of brings us all the way back around to there is no right or wrong belief system.
Exactly. I've dealt a lot with that back in the day. See, exactly, Susan.
Yes, thank you, Sue. I know.
And then they're starting to get away because for a while I ran into a lot of this where it was like only you had to be this way or that. And for a while, they like gay men, lesbian women couldn't participate in traditional Wicca because they couldn't take part of something called the Great Rite.
Okay. That's
but now
fascinating.
a lot of covens and stuff like that will do the Great Rite and token. So it's where like they use a chalice because the Great Rite is essentially having sex.
Okay.
Knocking boots.
Right.
And if you tried to get me to have sexual relations with a woman, that just does not compute for me.
I gotcha. That makes sense. So let me ask you this then. Do straight and gay, bisexual, non-binary people, can they practice together or is it truly a separate? Okay.
They can practice together just as like as if the circle is open to taking that kind of adaptation to magic.
Okay. Wow, this is fascinating.
See, just turn into an episode about queer spirituality.
I know, it's great. It's really I love to be able to understand it because there's so many different perspectives.
It's that's the beautiful thing about magic. And for a long time, people like queer people, like non-binary people like myself, were considered like sacred, and especially also in like Native American traditions they were, but also in different traditions across the world as well.
Wow, that's really interesting. So, Todd, did you have anything? I have a lot of questions going around in my head. I know we're starting to run out of time, but let me ask you this too. Just a couple of weeks ago, you helped me out with something. And how many years have you been practicing witchcraft now?
This year will make my 14th year.
Wow. And what made you decide to get into witchcraft?
I had just left seminary after I came out. I'm like, see you later. I like boys. And they're like, okay, bye. And then I remember the first
I'm sure it was exactly like that, too.
Yeah,
I've heard stories. That's exactly the way all the stories go, just like that.
Exactly. But like, so the very first book I ever picked up on witchcraft was Scott Cunningham's Wicca for the Solitary Practitioner. And the rest is history. Here I am now. You can hear about that in my Allow Me to Introduce Myself episode.
That's right.
Can someone bring up my logo, please?
Wow. I was just actually going to do that, but
you're so sweet, Todd. Whenever you want to be.
I love that logo. Very
I'm
good.
traveling at breakneck speeds
through
Clarkson, Missouri, trying not to get a ticket.
So I have to tell you something that absolutely positively that has to be on one of his podcasts. You don't have to tell him where it's going to be since you're the producer of it. That audio's got to like maybe
I'm just going to show up. It's going to show up
at the very end of the podcast.
Yes.
Like maybe like 2 or 3 seconds of dead roll,
like,
and then just that audio.
We'll do the outro music.
Like that, Todd.
we'll do the outro music and then at the very end where it just ends.
God,
we'll do the
so
6
great.
seconds of audio.
I'll make a road trip to Wisconsin. You see this?
Bring it.
You're only going to have a bad knee left because I'll cut the other leg off.
So, but thank you for your help a couple weeks ago too. I needed some help with something with a sort of a protection, and you came through very quickly for me, and I appreciate that. And do you ever like what kind of now did that involve on your end? Did that involve any kind of spell of protection, or did you do anything, or was that all in my court?
That was all in your court.
That was great.
That was anything that does. I can tell people how to do it whenever it comes to protection, because in my opinion, protection has to be done by the person needing protecting. I can lend like spells and energy and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you have to put in the work too.
Yeah. I even had Dave doing it with me. So,
wow.
Yeah. He doesn't question things anymore. Now that he's like more into everything, be quiet, Todd.
Of course he doesn't, because he lives with Crazy Lady. So if she says jump, he's like, how high do you need it, dear?
Well, I will tell you
Just don't
this.
hit me.
I will tell you this, though. In the past couple of years, since Todd and I met and started doing this, and my abilities and stuff started to come out more, and we've been investigating. He's on our investigation team. He's sort of changed a lot of his ways of thinking, things that he may not have understood or sort of brushed off a little bit before. He takes much more seriously now. It's great to see. Like, he even wants to spend money on equipment, which is something he never really wanted to do before. So, yeah, so he was right there with me. I said, don't question me. We just have to do this. And we did it. And I set my intention, and so far, so good. So thank you for that very, very much. I appreciate
You're welcome.
it. My friend.
No problem. No
So thank you.
problemo.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the hair club for men. Not only do I talk to witches, I'm one too.
I am a witch. That's awesome.
Not only am I the president, I'm a member too.
So what can we expect in season 2? Do you have any guests lined up yet?
Oh yeah, I've already got the roster pretty chock full.
Awesome.
I actually have a indigenous practitioner who's going to be on.
That's great.
And I'm also my friend Laura Tempest Zakrov is going to be on the show as well.
I
That's
love
just
the
2
names.
people.
I love the names. That's like worth the entire podcast right there. So these are Storm Fairy Wolf, like I said, is one of my favorite names ever. Ever.
You know what my favorite name is? Sandy.
Oh,
Aunt
thanks.
Sandy.
Aunt I don't even know how that started, but
Her-
it's hilarious.
Her real name is Crazy Lady Girl. That's what her magic name is. Written by Crazy Lady Girl.
Crazy
Jessica's
Lady Girl.
joining us. Hi, Jessica. Thanks for coming in tonight. So, yeah. Yep. Thanks, boys, guys.
I appreciate you being on, Erin, and
Yeah.
taking time on our first live cast back and coming on and talking. We both feel really strongly about your podcast. I mean, I'm the one that came to you and said you should do one. I'm glad you are, and I think
you pestered me for months, like do a podcast.
Yeah.
Do a podcast.
So I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad you're doing well with it. And at some point, it will become the Erin and Sandy cast, which I think is just awesome.
Don't listen to him. But I will say that I am really enjoying being able to do your podcast. I love being able to hear it before everybody else. And I'm really enjoying doing it because you have some really great guests. And like Todd said, I come across hundreds of podcasts. And if you're not passionate about it, if you're not knowledgeable and passionate about it, it's not going to come through. And yours comes through. So really good job. Proud of you.
Anyone who's like aspiring to do a podcast, kind of like I caught the tail end of saying that, like, it can be about anything as long as you're passionate about it, and just the drive there and the discipline is to actually put it out. You should do it. It's not as complicated as it sounds.
No, I try to make it as easy as I can. Like, I'll walk anybody through it. You know, we sat down and talked, and I said, here, because Anchor only gives you about 8 seconds worth of music, and you don't really get to, and I said, send me your music, send me your stuff. And we fixed it, and we made it into a whole beautiful intro, and we have a beautiful outro, and we just made it sound so good. And so, I like to be able to walk people through it and explain it to them. You did a great job with it.
Dudes with brews on a porch. He's going to start a podcast about various leaks
Drew.
I come across in my daily life. Hey, if you're passionate about it, it's kind of a weird flex, but okay.
If that's your passion, Drew, go
If
for
you're
it.
passionate about leaking, do it. See a doctor and then do it.
That just sounds so wrong in so many ways. I don't know. Good old Drew.
All right, Erin, go sit back there for a couple seconds. Sandy and I'll say goodbye, and then we'll chat with you, okay?
Okay.
Love you.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
I love them. I do. So wonderful guest.
And she means it this time.
And this time I do. I don't just lie all the time like Todd says I do.
I didn't say you lie all the time.
Yes, you do.
No, I
yes,
didn't.
you did.
I
You said
said-
I lie.
Sometimes we have to lie in this business. We know that.
I'm usually, if I say I'm excited about somebody, I'm usually excited about it.
Jesus, you must be excited just about everything then. Huh?
No, shut up. Such a
Uh,
pain in my butt. I'm
yeah.
glad we did a live cast tonight. It's been so long and it was fun.
And I'm done now
So-
for a couple months.
Yep.
So we'll come
Most
back
of you
and-
guys in a few
join.
months. We should do some live stuff again this year on vacation.
Oh, God.
Our big one was
Vacation will be
our big one was in Plainfield. That was funny as hell. And exactly. Thank you, Sue.
oh, she knows what I'm talking about.
So yeah, so the big one was in Plainfield last year, but we'll do some more lives this year. It should be entertaining. 3 hours each way in a car, all of us together. That should be just a lot of lives.
We'll be lucky if all of us show back up after we go to Washington Island. There might be a couple of bodies buried in the lavender fields there.
We're
I'm just
gonna
going to
have-
say that.
We're gonna go check out the lavender fields and have some bitters.
At any rate, Erin's going to be on the podcast this weekend, so you can check
Yep.
them out there.
Yep.
And we've got nothing else planned beyond that, so we'll have some more stuff coming soon. What is this week? Episode 8?
No, we're on 10, I think, this week.
So we're getting closer to the end of the season,
Yeah.
and then we'll reassess everything, and maybe we'll be back. And
Yeah. So maybe we'll be back. So we've got some ideas for season 5, just shake things up a little bit. So it should be fun. Can't wait.
You and Erin doing the Sandy and the Erin and Sandy cast.
Aaron and Sandy.
I think that'd be great.
It would be
That'd be
the
awesome.
Sandy and Aaron cast.
And it would be you with your great backdrop and him in front of an open closet door. That, I mean, to me, that
With the fish tank in the background.
with the fish tank and the undies showing. I mean, I think that's the way to go.
That'll
get
get
us-
us
we'll get
a
a
lot
nice-
more viewers and
Yes,
listeners. I think
yeah.
so. I love how Jared came in and shut that cloud. That was perfect.
Of course he would. Because
That
of
was
course he would.
perfect. Oh God, that was great. So, anyways, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Thank you to
Oh.
Todd's knee for making an appearance.
Yeah, I got rid of the camera already, but
Yeah, he
it's
did. So, all right, we love you guys. Make sure you listen to us this weekend. This episode will come out in audio, and we'll have some additional things to say as well. We always add a little bit of commentary here and there in each audio episode. So,
Can we
Or-
leave in the story about you and the headsets?
yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
let you leave that in because that
Yeah.
actually was pretty funny. I
Yeah,
can
that's-
play along. I can
Good,
play
good.
along.
I'm
All
good.
right.
So until next time, have a great night. Thank you for
Good
tuning
night,
in.
guys.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Who's saying goodbye? The great show as always. Sudi, we
Oh.
want you on this season, by the
Sudi,
way.
when are you coming on with us? We love you.
We were just talking about you tonight, so we want you on next. So be prepared
Be
for that.
prepared. We love you.
Bye.